Hi everyone, welcome to Nina Cucina. Today I am making one of my favorite spa dishes, my scallops with roasted red pepper sauce and warm, spicy spinach salad. It's filled with nutrition and only 423 calories a serving, and it's absolutely scrumptious. Now we're going to start with making the roasted red pepper sauce first, so let's roast some red peppers. I've got 3 red peppers here for 4 people, so if you're planning this for more, just plan about 3/4 of a pepper per person. I'm just going to remove the core here, get rid of these little extra seeds that came with it. Just cut that core right out. And I'm placing these cut side down on my broiler pan that I have lined with tin foil. I love making the cleanup easier. I'm just going to drizzle a couple of teaspoons of grapeseed oil on the tops here, and I'm going to give them a nice little massage and just cover them with that oil. So when we put them into the oven, they can get nice and crispy. Now I'm going to put them into the broiler, which is on high, for about 10 to 15 minutes or until all of these skins are nice and charred. While my red peppers are roasting in the oven and getting nice and crisp on the outside, I'm going to get started with my vinaigrette for my warm, spicy spinach salad. Now I've got my ingredients right here on my work surface. I'm going to start with a little bit of 2 of my favorite things from All of a Sudden. I've got some wonderful extra virgin olive oil. This is the Foodie Verde that I'm going to use, and I'm using it because it has a really peppery finish on it. It tastes very green, and you'll see the color. It is very green, but I love that peppery finish for my spicy spinach salad. It really brings up the heat in my other ingredients. And my favorite white balsamic vinegar is their cranberry pear, and I'm going to be using that as well in this vinaigrette. I've got some other ingredients here, about 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, a couple of teaspoons of minced garlic, a little bit of vegetable oil to give it a nice viscosity, and some chipotle. Now that is going to give it the last little bit of kick. And I'm going to do it all right here in the blender, the way I do all of my vinaigrettes, because I like it easy. Now we're going to use about 3 tablespoons of the cranberry pear white balsamic. Let's use about 1/4 cup of the Foodie Verde. There goes 1/4 cup of that beautiful green olive oil. And I'm just going to toss in my Dijon and the garlic and my vegetable broth and the nice heat. I'm not even going to add salt at this point because the Dijon mustard has a nice salty little kick. It smells fabulous. I can really smell the cranberry pear balsamic. Now I'm done with this for now. I'm just going to set it aside while I get my peppers out of the broiler. I've just gotten these out of the broiler, and you can see how charred they are. This is exactly how you want them. You don't have to have them this charred, but you want them nice and black, and I'm going to tell you why. The more burnt the skin is, the easier that it peels, and that's what we want. Now I'm just going to take them off of this broiler pan here and put them into a bowl. Now we're just going to cover this with plastic wrap. And what's going to happen here is the steam rising up in the bowl is going to loosen the skins and make it easy to peel. So I'm just going to go ahead and set these aside so they're cool enough for me to handle. Now my peppers have cooled, and you can see that there's some condensation that is formed underneath the plastic wrap. And that's one of the indications that you'll have that they are ready to peel. Now I'm just going to peel off my plastic wrap and dump that. And you can see that they're just falling apart. They're nice and cooked. And you can do most of this with your hand, but I have my knife with me just in case. They come off really easily when they're nice and charred. Now I also have some wonderful juices accumulated in the bottom of my bowl. I'm going to pour them into my blender as well. Now I've just pureed them in the blender until smooth, and I'm just going to add my cream sherry, about a half teaspoon of sea salt, my nutmeg, and my white pepper. Now, has a beautiful consistency. It's got that gorgeous bright orange color. I'm just going to pour it right into a small sauce pot, and we're going to place it on low heat to warm. Now I'm just going to give this roasted red pepper sauce a nice little stir. I'm going to turn the heat down to warm, and I'm going to cover the pot. Now what's going to happen is all of the alcohol in the cream sherry is going to burn off, and it's going to leave that wonderful caramelly flavor. It's just going to be great. Now that I've got my roasted red pepper sauce warming, let's start to make the poaching liquid for my scallops. Now that's what's special about this dish. We're not going to sear the scallops. We're going to poach them in wine. I'm going to pour about 2 cups of Chardonnay. This doesn't have to be expensive wine, just flavorful, anything that you like. About a cup of water, and we're going to use about a teaspoon of salt. I've got about a teaspoon of whole pepper and a cute little bay leaf. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in a spice bag. And the reason being is I don't want my pepper to be floating around in the pan with my scallops. I'm just going to place this over medium-high heat to get it bubbling away. While my poaching liquid is heating up, I'm going to deal with my scallops. Now I've got these absolutely gorgeous extra large sea scallops. And when you buy fish, it shouldn't smell fishy. It should smell sort of sweet and like the sea. And these are beautiful and fresh. Now what I'm going to do here is a little sneaky trick. I'm going to slice these in half lengthwise, just like that. This is a pound of scallops for 4 people. That's 4 ounces of flesh per person, and that's what you're supposed to have. But with this little trick, everybody thinks they're getting more. So that's why I do it. Slice them all in half. Now I'm using my meat cutting board here so I don't cross-contaminate. Start putting them back on my plate. Okay, now let's pop them in the poaching liquid. Our poaching liquid is bubbling away, and I'm just going to very carefully and slowly just drop them in. You do not want to splatter yourself with hot liquid, because this pan is sizzling hot. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover this up. I'm going to bring it to a quick little bubble, and then I am going to turn it off. I don't want to overcook my scallops. These cook rather quickly, and now we're going to put together the warm, spicy spinach salad while these poach in the hot poaching liquid. You remember my spicy vinaigrette? Well, here it is. And now we're going to put together my spicy spinach salad. I have here about 12 ounces of organic baby spinach. Now when you look for this, do yourself a favor. Get the pre-washed kind. It really saves you a ton of time. Now, I'm going to bring it right over the stove, and I have preheated this pan over about medium-high heat. Now I know it's ready because I can feel the heat radiating up from this pan. It's really hot. So I'm just turning it down just a tad. I'm going to pour into the pan my vinaigrette, and we're going to start putting that spinach in and just stirring it around. Now, just like any salad, I'm just going to toss it. What's going to happen here is that my spinach salad is going to wilt, and it's going to absorb all the beautiful flavors of that vinaigrette. Now, that's just perfect. Now I'm just going to cover it and turn it off, and we're going to plate this dish. You're not going to believe how beautiful it is. Now I've moved all of my pots over to my work surface to put this plate together. Wait till you see how pretty it is. We're going to start with the roasted red pepper sauce, which is nice and hot and bright orange. And all you need is a little spoonful or so around the outside of the plate. You're just going to swirl that around. Just like that. Now, a little bit of the hot and spicy spinach salad. I'm just going to give it a little toss. And right into the center of that plate, we're going to place the spinach salad. Now that's nice and warm. Now for my scallops. Now we're going to make a little flour on the spinach. I'm just going to scoot this over just a little bit. I think I'll just trade these guys out. And I'm just going to carefully place. We'll do 5 or 6. There, just like that. Now we have a beautiful arrangement. Your loved ones are going to love this dish. I'm just going to bring this one to Roger.